and welcome back to the channel. This is the second vlog of January, the second vlog of 2022. I'm starting it out on a holiday, a day off, a day I wouldn't have had to go into work even if it weren't a holiday, because we have snow outside, as documented in last week's vlog. I have no idea if we're going to be off tomorrow. It's going to depend on how much melts and what the freezing of the water that melts, what that's like, because it's the South. So I may have even more reading time. I may just have the normal amount of reading time. So we'll see what this week holds. I have a fairly ambitious TBR for this vlog because I realized to meet my goal of 250 books, I need to read a few more books. So I'll start with the books that I am currently reading. On audiobook, I just started Firekeeper's Daughter. At first, I wondered why so many people liked it. Not because it was bad, but because it felt very normal YA contemporary. I just got to the point where things start going. I'm not going to reveal anything. I could feel it coming for that whole lead up of that chapter. And then what happened actually blew my mind. And now I am thoroughly hooked and invested in this book. It's not my typical genre, but I'm really excited to see where this one is going to go. So I'm listening to that on audiobook. Phenomenal. I am going to finish A Vow So Bold and Deadly today. I believe it's actually due tomorrow. If it's not safe to drive out tomorrow, I hope they'll be generous with my due date. Who knows? But I will finish that. I read about 46 pages yesterday. I read 46 pages yesterday. Speaking of due date, I'm finally getting to some of the biggest books on the Goodreads Choice Award list. This one is due in 3 days, and I tried to renew it, but I've already renewed it twice because I had a long list and this one's long. I believe, especially if we get tomorrow off, that I'll be able to finish this one before the due date. If not, I'm just gonna push on through. Then I'm going to read Daughter of the Deep. That'll be the second to the last of the books that I will be able to read for the middle grades list. I finished everything up to this and The Shape of Thunder, which I hope will come available at my library soon. And then the last of the ones that I'm going to read for the YA fantasy is Chain of Iron. See why this TBR for this week is ambitious. And then if I have time on the weekend, I'm going to read Salt, Fat, Acid, Heat. Yes, I know this is a cookbook, and yes, I'm not planning to, and no, I'm not planning to read any, no, I'm not planning to make any of these recipes. I just want to read it, and this is a very readable cookbook. I'm having difficulty describing this morning, but hopefully I'll be able to get to it. I might not. So it's still Monday. Since I filmed the opening about midday, the school district did decide to make it an e-learning day. We no longer have snow days, it's e-learning, but you get about as much done. But that means I have more reading time, so I'm excited about that. I have decided to pick up the cookbook. So it's big, but I'm not gonna read the individual recipes. I'll probably skim over the recipes, and I just wanna read the text and the other parts of it. I'm gonna do that now, and then probably later on this evening get to A Vow So Bold and Deadly and hopefully finish that or get close to it, because my goal is today to finish 2 books. So that would probably be the easiest one to finish. So it's Tuesday morning. Like usual, I overestimate my reading capability, especially when I don't actually start my book until mid-afternoon. There was no way I was going to read 2 books yesterday. So I actually ended up reading the Salt, Fire, Acid, Heat cookbook by Sami Nosrat. I really enjoyed it. Now, I have several cookbooks in my collection. I don't cook from any of them. I don't have a ton, but I have some I enjoy. Some I have used some recipes from or thought about. But I typically don't cook. I like the idea of cooking, but I don't have the time. I also don't want to clean up the dishes. So I saw Sami Nosrat on Michael Pollan's mini series. I forget, I think it was on Netflix.
And then she had her own miniseries based on the book. Then my cousin showed me, because her brother, my other cousin, got a degree in culinary arts. And he and his wife they both got degrees in culinary arts, and they're fantastic cooks. So they are the people that this book is geared towards. Well, not geared towards, but my cousin got them this cookbook, and they were going through it, and I looked at it, and it's just gorgeous. So it's brilliantly illustrated by Wendy McNaughton, and so I really enjoyed reading it. I know that there is nothing in me that has any desire to basically cook from scratch, which is a lot of the things that she has there. I love the idea of it, but I don't have the time, and even if I did have the time, I don't have the desire. I read the book purely for enjoyment. So I'll give some more thoughts on the book in my wrap up. So that's what I did yesterday afternoon. And then I settled in the evening for my typical, what I've made my routine, which is cross-stitching on the project that I'm trying to finish this year, I hope, and then listening to an audiobook. So I continued in the audiobook of Firekeeper's Daughter. I'm loving it. It's not my typical genre. I'm not typically a mystery kind of reader. I mean, I did read a little bit of mystery growing up. Some of the first series that I remember reading is Nancy Drew, which is not hard-hitting mystery at all. But this one keeps blowing my mind. This one, it's so deeply embedded in the culture that Angeline Boulley is doing a masterful job showing, and I don't even know how to talk about it, but I think it's Ojibwe culture is so deeply centered in this. This book is more than a straight mystery novel. So much of the mystery is deeply rooted to Donis's culture. So for that, I'm fascinated by. And then after I finished that, I read about 70 more pages of A Vow So Bold and Deadly. I'm really enjoying this book. I'm enjoying it even more than the second book. The second book was good. I think it might be my third in ranking of the trilogy. We'll see if this one can keep up with where it's going. But one thing I noticed in my reading last night, so Leah Mara has become queen. She is ruling differently than her mother, who was absolutely brutal, and differently than her sister, who is being groomed to be just the same as their mother. And so she's serving as a monarch that's hearing the requests of her people. And during one of these, there's an assassination attempt. She is horribly injured. Now, of course, Gray, with his magic, can heal her. Bridget Kemmerer, instead of just making, oh, everything's okay, she's fine. No, there's a lasting impact to it. It's a real thing. Leah Mara now definitely has PTSD from this experience, as she would if this had actually happened to her. This has only been like a chapter or so of it, but I just remember reading that and thinking, this is good. Well, not the situation. PTSD is not good. An assassination attempt, not good. But the representation and the reality grounded in this fantasy, I really appreciate. We do have e-learning today, which means in about 40-ish minutes, I have an IEP meeting to attend, and then I have to do 15 minutes of live instruction for my students. That'll be my focus for most of the day. And then I'm planning to try to stay focused on school stuff during what would be school hours, so I can get that stuff ready. So I won't be reading until the end of the day, but I might check in later today. I might just wait until tomorrow. Hey, so yes, same camera angle. I feel like I haven't moved from this spot almost all day. That joys of virtual teaching, yay. But got a package, and I think I know what this is. So I never have opening things, so getting the packages open is always fun. Okay, so it is what I thought. I saw these on another channel and I had to get it. So first off, it is so I've got the 20th anniversary Harry Potter Funko. And then, this is my first of these because I just collect the regular Funko Pops, but I saw this and went, I have to have it. It is the most adorable Dumbledore, sorry about the glare, and Hogwarts Castle. So yeah, the proportions aren't right, but I have a model of Hogwarts. I'm so excited. So I'm gonna take these out of the box. I don't keep the box. I'm not that kind of collector. And this is my second Harry Funko Pop. He's got the Philosopher's Stone in his hand and he's a little bloody. I also got the 20th anniversary Ron and Hermione, so that'll be fun. But they haven't gotten here yet. So that means I have the entire set now, at least on this release. So we've got this Dumbledore. I think it's modeled after the Richard Harris version with the fuller beard. Love it. Love the half moon glasses. They've even got little lenses in them. And then we've got a model of Hogwarts. I love it. I love it so much. Checking in again. It is now Wednesday evening after day 2 of virtual teaching. Yeah, I already knew it wasn't fun. We get a day 3. Yay! Yeah, so we had a lovely virtual faculty meeting. And at the very end of it, my principal went, "Oh, breaking news. We have an e-learning day tomorrow." And someone unmuted themselves and they're like, "This is a joke, right? You're making a joke, right?" I don't understand why we have e-learning tomorrow, but we do. I have to try to teach. Yay. We're supposed to get snow again on Friday. Who knows what the district is going to do because the snow's not supposed to come from until the afternoon. I don't even know what they're thinking. But I got more reading done since the last update. So last night, Tuesday night, I listened to about an hour and a half more of Firekeeper's Daughter. I don't know what it is about this book. I cannot find a fault with it anywhere. I think that Angeline Boulley is so fully inhabiting Donis. She's so real. It's like I'm there. It's like I'm acting the way that she would act. Now it does help that I was approximately the same age as Donis at that time. So Donis graduates in 04, graduates high school 04. I graduated in 03. I don't know. I don't even know how to explain it. And just her responses, they feel real, they feel normal, and they are so rooted in her culture. It is a privilege to be able to witness this and learn more about this culture and her struggle with being from two worlds, but not being good enough to be in either of those worlds. It's phenomenal. I decided on my quote-unquote lunch break or planning period, since I was at home, I would read. And so I finished A Vow So Bold and Deadly. I'm conflicted. Conflicted about how I feel about this book. I put everything through Compile. It came out to still a 4-star rating, but a very low 4-star, which it makes sense. So I really enjoyed Bridget Kemmerer's character work in this book. I thought that she did a really good job in making Ren atone and deal with the choices he made and the actions he took in the second book, which seemed so out of character for his character growth in the first book. I also thought that she handled the 4 perspectives that we see throughout this book really well, because now we have chapters from all 4 protagonists, Ren and Harper, Gray and Leomara. In the back of my mind, the whole time I was reading this, I couldn't figure out how she was going to end it, how she was going to solve this problem. And then we get to the end, she didn't really solve it. I mean, she solved it, but she didn't. I can't really say what she solved and what she didn't because spoilers, but the whole dilemma and conflict that really she had to put in there to make this into a trilogy, it was motivating throughout the narrative, but then we get to the end and we're like, oh, that's it? Hence the conflicted feelings. I had to restart my computer a little bit ago because it wasn't connecting to the internet. And while I did, I picked up Chain of Gold. I always forget which is first, Chain of Gold or Chain of Iron. And I've read the prologue, and I already really like it. It feels a lot bigger than 580 pages. Maybe it'll read faster though. So it is now Thursday afternoon, as far as I know. No e-learning day tomorrow. Yay. The forecasted snow has left the forecast, which I guess is good. So that won't be a problem. But apparently there's a lot of subs in our building tomorrow, which usually indicates illness or something of that nature. So maybe this weather-induced quarantine didn't actually work, but we shall see. I have been continuing on with Firekeeper's Daughter, which I still love. I just started chapter 3 on Chain of Gold, so I don't know, it's fine so far. There was a mention, like, so they're at this ball, and Cassandra Clare is kind of known for relationships that are super close to incest and not so cool. And there was a mention in there like, oh, do you think that so-and-so likes so-and-so? And those two people whose names I can't remember are cousins. At least from what I read. That's my team from school that is blowing up my my texts. But anyway, so I read that and I went, okay, you haven't changed. So apart from that, it's good. It's not compelling yet. There's so many characters in this world, and I've read the first in the Shadowhunters series, her first, and I have read all of the Infernal Devices trilogy. So I know a lot of these names, but it's been a while since I've read any of them. I will check in tomorrow after my one day this week in person, hopefully. So I spoke too soon. Literally recorded that update like 10 minutes, 10, 15 minutes ago. It's e-learning again tomorrow. Okay, so we have reached Friday afternoon. I have one class left to teach. So I read a little bit more of Firekeeper's Daughter last night. I will finish that tonight. I'm enjoying it, but I don't think it's gonna be the 5-star read that I thought it was going to be. This might be because I'm reading it as an audiobook, but it just feels like it's going really slow. Things feel like they should have progressed a lot farther than they have so far, but it just might be because I'm reading it as an audiobook, and so my consumption of it is slower than otherwise, even though I do have it at 1.7 speed. I still have all the praise for it that I've said before, but it hasn't reached 5-star level for me. Probably won't. I still really enjoy it. I still will probably purchase it because it's a good book, and that cover, gorgeous. So I have also read a bit more of Chain of Gold. I'm about 150 pages into it. Again, I still feel the same way that I did before. The central conflict, I think, is about to be revealed, but I've read 150 pages and I'm just now finding out the central conflict, or like what it is. So it's a little slow moving. I will also say that even though I have read the Infernal Devices, and this is a follow-up historical series to the Infernal Devices trilogy, it's been a long time since I've read that, and so a lot of the details I don't remember. So probably before I continue reading, I am going to go back and refresh my memory on what happened in that trilogy. Maybe that will help things make a little bit more sense. This afternoon, I'm going to dedicate a big chunk of time to finishing this book because it's now overdue. Then I'm going to actually read Iron Widow. I didn't mention that at the beginning of this vlog because I had forgotten, but I have the ebook version of that on my Kindle, and I want to read that before it gets returned to the library, and I have to wait again to get it. So we'll see how many. I might still have 2 books left. It was a really ambitious TBR. So we'll see how things stand when I wrap this up, but I probably will update at least once or twice tomorrow. I wasn't planning on updating, but I just finished Firekeeper's Daughter. That was a momentary lull that I talked about before. This book made me tear up. I can't even say what happened, but spoilers. But when things started to come together, things that were so rooted in what she had done to honor her culture, to be true to herself, and to see the fruits of that, to see how that all came together. Literally, I was cross-stitching, had to take my glasses off, and I was listening to it. I was listening to the story going and just in utter awe. Like, my eyes were watering. This book blew my mind. I have not read a book like this. I don't know that I've read a book like this ever. So, yet again, another amazing 5-star read.
Hey, so it's Saturday night. I just wanted to show you a couple things that I have gotten. I now have a new printer. I haven't had a printer for a while because I've used the one at work, but I have some plans for making my own stickers. So I'm excited about that. And then on the topic of stickers, I now have my own Cricut machine. So I had to move rooms because both the printer and the Cricut machine need a flat surface, and the flat surface in the other room wasn't big enough. So now we have my Cricut. So I've set up the printer, but I haven't set up the Cricut. Another update, I got my copy of Bone Shard Daughter. So I'm really excited about that. I'm now going to put it back on I'm going to put it on the shelves now since I've hauled it in a video. This morning I finished Chain of Gold. So it's a big book, so I'm not going to continue to hold it up. I will say that probably my enjoyment of it is tempered by the fact that I finished such an amazing book last night. They're so different. I don't think Chain of Gold is a bad book. In fact, when I compiled it by all those different items, it added up to a 4-star. A very low 4-star, probably my lowest 4-star, but that's good. I enjoyed reading it. I enjoy this world. I enjoy the historical setting. I'm trying to figure out exactly what year it is because she doesn't mention, but I think it's like 1902, 1904, something like that. So I really enjoy that. I think there's too many characters, but at the same time, she needs to introduce more families that are high up in the Shadowhunters world than the Carstairs and the Herondales, because that gets a little bit incesty, especially when you think of what that means for the generations of the original series. But I'll leave that there. Eventually the plot really did get going. I will say I saw who I predicted the ultimate villain, the human one. I was pretty sure about that. I was also pretty sure about one of the other pieces to that. Didn't make it a bad thing. I'm like, okay, good, you're laying out the plot fairly well. I like that. Wasn't too obvious, but it was obvious, if that makes any sense. I won't get to Chain of Iron in this reading vlog. I think I'll start it off for next week. I have also started Iron Widow, and I reached the 50% mark just before I started this update. I feel kind of meh about it. I think it's an interesting world. I used to be big into dystopian things, and this is clearly a dystopian world. So it's described as something meets Pacific Rim, which I've never seen, but I know it because they inhabit these creatures, these machines. It's a fascinating premise, and the author is doing a good job in building complex characters. I just don't necessarily care, and I think it's not the book for me. I don't think I'm the right audience for it, not that it's a bad book. So we'll see if my opinion changes by the time I get to the end of the book. And then in just a little bit, when I cross-stitch my audiobook, it's finally going to be I Know Why the Caged Bird Sings. I'm excited about that. I was going to start something else, but I have the Libby app, and what's really cool, you don't have to wait for an email from the library to notify you. It notifies you right on the phone. It's ready, and I went, yay, and downloaded it. So I'll be listening to that. I'm really excited because Maya Angelou narrates it. I love listening to her talk. Okay, so I am back to wrap up this reading vlog. I had a really successful week, a very strange week with the snow, the ice, all the e-learning days, but I had another 5-star read, another book that's still topping my list. I don't know. Already 2 amazing books so far in January. So I finished Iron Widow, and my thoughts really haven't changed. I don't think I'm the right audience for it, or the right person, or it wasn't the right book for me. It's like the old cliche, it's not you, it's me. That's how I feel about this book. I did Cawpile it, and it came up to a 3.5, which, hey, not bad. I don't think there was anything wrong with the plot. I don't think there was anything wrong with the characterization. I don't know, it's hard to describe. I just never jived with it, and so for me it's hard to come up with any thoughts on it. So be interesting to see what I say about it in my wrap up. I read it. That's another book on the Goodreads Choice Award list from 2021 done. I have 1 more of those for the young adult fantasy that I'm gonna read. I really overall had a successful week. I completed 1 audiobook in full, Firekeeper's Daughter. I started another one, which I'm liking so far. I Know Why the Caged Bird Sings by Maya Angelou. I completed A Vow So Bold and Deadly, finished up a series, yay. So that actually checks 1 off my list. And I started a series. I read Chain of Gold. I also read Iron Widow. See, I already forgot it. Okay, that's 5 books, 5 books this week. I won't be doing another vlog for next week because I got a couple of videos going up, but I'll return to the reading vlogs in February. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one.